Good day, everyone! So, we are the group 4.
Hi! How's everyone?
How are you today? I hope all is well and everyone is ready to listen to our discussion for today.
But before we proceed with our discussion, maglalaro muna tayo ng isang game. Syempre, warm up. So, we're gonna play Guess the Gibberish. So, ang mechanics niya, so basically, you need to guess what is the right word or phrases that are presented. So, for the first word, we have here, to, lo, geez. What do you think is the right word? Okay, that's correct. So, the correct answer is tautologies. Okay, for our next word, we have here coin, throw, deck, shown. Ano sa tingin niyo yung tamang word? Okay, that's correct. So, we have here the correct answer. The correct answer is contradiction. And for our third word, gibberish word rather, we have here equivalent. What do you think is the right word? That's correct. So the right word or the correct word is equivalent.
Great job, everyone!
So for today, we will going to have 3 topics that will be discussed. The tautology that will be discussed by yours truly. The contradiction that will be discussed with Miss Angelica Julian, and the logical equivalence that will be discussed by Miss Yasmin Renton. So these are the objectives of our discussion. At the end of the discussion, students are able to identify if the given set of values is tautology, contradiction, or logical equivalence. Differentiate tautology, contradiction, and logical equivalence, and be familiarized with different symbols from this lesson. Construct the truth tables for the logical connectiveness. And these are the terms to encounter. Proposition. A proposition is a statement or assertion that expresses a judgment or opinion. Contradiction. A contradiction is a combination of statements, ideas, or features of a situation that are opposed to one another. Equivalent. Equivalent means that different terms and expressions with a similar value are considered equal to mathematical form. The last is conditional statement. A conditional statement is represented in the form of if-then. Let P and Q are 2 statements. The statements P and Q can be written as per different conditions, such as P implies Q, P is sufficient for Q. So let's start our discussion by defining what is tautology. So what do you mean by tautology? A tautology is a compound statement which is true for every value of the individual statement. The word tautology is derived from a Greek word where tauto means same and logy means logic. So in simple words or in simple terms, tautology is a proposition or a statement that is always true. So now let's have these symbols. Tautology uses different logical symbols to present compound statements. Here are the symbols and their meaning used in math logic. Symbol number 1 means and its representation is A and B. Symbol number 2 is or, and its representation is A or B. Symbol number 3 is negation, and its representation is negation A. The symbol number 3 is not, and its representation is not A. The symbol number 4 is implies or if then, and its representation is A if then B. And the last symbol is if and only if, and its representation is A if and only if B. So let's have this given example, guys. So let's analyze this table. So as you can see, ang compound statement na P or not P ay consists of two different individual statements, wherein we conclude the compound statement P or not P as a tautology. Why? Because regardless kung ano man ang truth value ng isang individual statement, kapag pinag-compound natin silang dalawa or pinag-combine natin silang dalawa, ang sagot ay always true. So another example, guys, as you can see sa table, the compound statement P and Q if then P is true, is always true. Bakit? Regardless kung ano man ang truth value ng individual statement na nakikita nyo dito sa table, kahit true or false man siya, always siyang magiging true kapag nasa compound statement na siya. And we define it as a tautology. That's why P and Q if then P is a tautology. So in conclusion, guys, a compound statement is always true regardless of the truth value of an individual statement. And we define it as tautology.
Okay, thank you for that, Presley. So, hi. Hello there, everyone. My name is Ika and I'm going to discuss the contradiction. So, madali lang siya, guys. Pero sana maintindihan nyo pa rin sa the way ng pag-discuss ko. Sana malinawan kayo. So, before we start, let us first define contradiction. So, contradiction, a contradiction or the null set is a proposition or compound statement that is always false under every interpretation whose truth value determined by its logical structure. So, kung sa tautology, guys, ang truth value na lumalabas sa isang statement ay palaging true, dito sa contradiction, opposite siya. Ang laging lumalabas po na truth value is false. So, para mas maintindihan ninyo, meron tayo dito example. So, example number 1, we have the P and the null set. So, construct na tayo ng truth table. Meron na tayong truth table. So, sa first column, andito yung statement P. At ang truth value niya is true and false. Second column is the null set. So, guys, ito, tatandaan nyo ha. Kapag null set is a proposition na palaging false. So, ang lalabas dito ay false palagi. So, magiging false siya, false. So, third column is the buong statement now, which is the P and the null set. So, gagamitan na natin siya ng truth table ng conjunction. So, base sa truth table ng conjunction, kapag true and false, magiging false siya. Kapag parehas namang false, false pa rin. So, therefore, P and the null set is contradiction. Next example. Okay, for the next example, we have here Q and not Q. So, first column, value ng Q is true and false. Sa second column, guys, ay gagawin na natin is, kukunin lang natin yung negation ng Q. So, kapag nag-denegate po tayo, is kukunin lang natin yung opposite value ng isang statement. True yung value, magiging false siya. Kapag false naman, false din siya. Sa third column na tayo, guys, kompleto na yung statement natin, which is the Q and not Q. Gagamitan na natin ulit siya ng truth table ng conjunction. So, sabi dito sa truth table ng conjunction, kapag true and false, magiging false siya. False, false, false pa rin. So, therefore, Q and not Q is a contradiction. Gets nyo ba? Siyempre, dapat gets nyo yan. So, third example na tayo. So, for the third example, medyo mahaba-haba siya. Pero sana masundan nyo pa rin. So, we have the P and not Q and P and Q. So, dahil mahaba siya, kailangan natin siya ng 4 na columns. So, yun ulit. Same process. Yung first column ng letter P is true, true, false, false. Q is true, false, true, false. So, yun ulit. Negation ulit ng Q is false, true, false, true. So, dito na tayo sa fourth column. Para makuha natin yung value ng P and not Q, titingnan lang natin yung truth table ng conjunction at saka yung first column and third column natin dito sa ating truth table ng ating statement. So, first column and third column ang nakalagay is true and false. So, magiging false siya. Tapos, true and true, true rin. False, false, false pa rin. False, true, false pa rin. Syempre, dapat nga false palagi. Charing. So, para sa ating fifth column, which is the P and Q, andito na yan sa truth table ng conjunction. So, kokopyahin na lang natin. So, true, false, false, and false. Ayan. Dito na tayo, proceed na tayo sa ating last column. So, last column is, kompleto na yung statement natin, which is yung P and not Q and P and Q. So, para makuha natin yung truth value nito, titignan lang natin yung fourth column and yung fifth column and i-base natin siya sa truth table ng conjunction. So, sabi sa truth table ng conjunction, kapag false and true, false pa rin. True and false, false pa rin, syempre. False, false, mas lalong false. Tsaka false and false, syempre false pa rin. So, therefore, the truth value of the statement P and not Q and P and Q is a contradiction. So, that's all. Thank you for listening, I guess. So, sana naiintindihan niyo siya. Sabi ko sa inyo, madali lang siya kung nadalian kayo.
How's everyone? Thank you Angelic and Presley for the knowledge about tautology and contradiction. So now we are going to talk about the logical equivalence. So ano nga ba yung logical equivalence? So as we can see from the word equivalence, it means equal or fair. That means the two propositions P and Q are logically equivalent. So we can denote this as P for biconditional Q. So, this symbol, a double arrow, ginagamit lang natin siya if two propositions are equivalent. Meaning, pareho sila. If they have the same truth values for all possible truth values of their simple components. Now, let's put it in examples to know more about it. Shall we? So, example number 1. Show that P implies Q is equivalent to not P or Q. So, kailangan natin makita na truth values nitong una is pareho sa pangalawa. That's all what we need to prove. So, anong gagawin natin? Of course, gagawa tayo ng truth table at since may dalawa tayong propositions, 4 columns yung gagawin natin. Now, standard na po itong nasa unahan, alam na natin yan. So, let's proceed sa pagkuha nitong nasa left side. And, that is P implies Q. So, this is a conditional statement, right? So, kuhanin natin yung truth tables ng conditional statement. So, ayan. Copy natin tong value na to. And, now, we have true, false, true, and true. So now, let's proceed sa right side. Kunin natin yung negation ng P. Negate natin siya means kunin lang natin yung kabaliktaran niya since yun yung hinihingi. So, if true yan, then false ang ilalagay natin. True to false, false to true, and false to true. After that, proceed na tayo dito sa buo. Not P or Q. So, titingin tayo sa fourth, then sa second na column. Yan yung movement ng pagkuha natin ng sagot. So, as we can see, false and true, then true. Both false, the answer is false. If both true, the answer is true, and true and false ay magiging true. Now, to get the answer, ano ba yung kailangan natin tingnan? So, kailangan yung value ng P implies Q is this and not P or Q ay equal. Dahil kinukuha natin yung logical equivalence, kung makikita natin na pareho sila, therefore, they are equivalent. So, makikita ba natin dito? Tingnan natin kung pareho yung dalawang column. Pareho ba? Yes, tama. Pareho sila, so, therefore, they are equivalent. Next example. Show that not the quantity of P or not Q and not P and Q are equivalent statements. So first, ang laging unang gagawin, gagawa tayo ng truth table. So dahil meron tayong ganito sa loob ng parentheses, unahin muna natin yung negation of Q. So the negation of Q is, babaliktad lang natin yung nasa column ng Q. Yes. So that is false, true, false, at true. Next naman, itong buo na nasa loob ng parenthesis, that is P or not Q. Ganon siya babasahin. Alam naman natin yun. So, gagamitin natin yung disjunction ng truth table. So, now, titingin tayo sa first and third column natin, right? First is true and the second is false. So, the answer is true. Next, we have both true. So, ano kaya ilalagay natin? True, tama. False and false equals to false. And false and true, the answer is true. So, what's next? Nakuha na natin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis, right? So, next, nakukuha na natin yung negation neto. Negation means babaliktad na naman natin ulit. As simple as that. So, the answer would be false, false, true, and false. So, now, natapos na tayo dyan. Proceed na tayo sa next na statement. Again, gawa tayo ng truth table. Then, first, nakalagay dito sa negation of P. Babaliktad lang natin yung first column na P. So, true ay magiging false. Then, yung true magiging false. True to false, false to true. So, hanapin na natin yung not P and Q. Now, tingin tayo sa ating third column and sa second column. Same process, let's take a look sa ating truth table and conjunction. So, if the first statement is false and the other one is false, the answer is yes, false. And false is equals to false. Then, pag dalawang true naman, tama, true. And true plus false is false. On to the last step. Tingnan natin if pareho ba yung values sa first and second na truth tables natin. Tingnan natin yung pinakahuling column. So sa una, both have false and false. Next, sa pangalawa, false and false din. Sa third, para silang true, tama? And lastly, dun sa pinakahuli is false. Now, we can say that both of these truth tables are equivalent.
And that's all for our video discussion for today. I hope you learned something new. Once again, this is Bsee and I'll see you in our next video discussion. Thank you for watching. Bye!